Hi. I've been in a little bit of a lull lately. And part of that has been me because work has been really, really busy. But part of it's also been, I think I'm a little stuck. And I could hide behind the work is busy side of things. But the truth is, I haven't sat down and written in over a week. And I miss it, but I'm not doing it. And I think part of it is because I feel like my next step is to try and sell the touch concept to my internal team, and I'm not sure how to do that. And I've also been assigned to work with my kids to shoot that ET scene. And there's something blocking me from that. I think it's a fun idea. Maybe it's just enough time. And if I had a day set aside to do that, I would do it. But somehow I need to get my mojo back, I guess. That's the trouble with reporting every week. Some weeks it's just boring. So, for my own sake, last week, I think it was last week, I shot in Candlelight. And I got really curious about the footage that I got out of that because it was really dark. Shooting on this FX9 with the high bass in Cine EI mode. And I applied all sorts of noise reduction to try and salvage it because it was bad. And I didn't want to downsample it, which I think could have helped a little bit, like hide some of the noise. I wanted to keep a 4K image, make it look as good as I could in a reasonable time frame. And I think that's what I ended up with. And it was, for a video blog type thing, it was okay. But in the time since then, I decided I need to figure out how to shoot better low light pictures on this FX9. And one of the things I went out looking for was that version 2.0 firmware update that Sony had just released. And it turns out they had pulled it because there was some issue with their 5K scan mode and something. Anyway, they just released the new version though that fixes that issue. And so now I have version 2.1, 2.0.1. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's the latest. And that gives me 4K DCI, which I'm shooting in right now. I think I see a little black bar on the top of them. Is that a black bar? I can't tell. I should look. Anyway, this is the first time shooting that. Right now I'm shooting in Cine EI mode, and I'm shooting high bass. And I've got my little desk lamp here as my sole lighting source. I have just turned off my desk lamp. Come back, desk lamp. There it is. It's touch sensitive. Yeah, I've got my color temperature still at 32K, which I think is about right for my candles. And what I want to try to do is experiment around a little bit and leave those experiments in the final footage here, so we can kind of get a feel for what works best. But one thing I learned that I did not know about Cine EI, there's so much I don't know, is that Cine EI does not allow you to, I'm not sure about this one, white balance. I don't think white balance really affects the recorded image. I think I do know that the exposure index that you set does not actually affect the recorded image. It only affects what you see in the viewfinder. So when I was shooting that low light image, I blew out the exposure index as high as I could to try and be able to see myself. Because I was doing the whole, hold the camera and aim it at yourself thing. And then I pull it in to resolve, and it's super dark, and I bring it up, and the noise is there and all that. Well, what's interesting to me about that is I'm shooting S-Log3, and it seems that what they've done with the Cine EI mode, this is my new working model for what they're trying to do. If you know better, please let me know. I'm trying to learn here. Is that basically they've set up Cine EI for two modes, low bass and high bass. And they're trying to capture the entire dynamic range of the sensor, ideally at those sensor settings, the two base ISOs, if you will, base sensitivities. And because it's S-Log, we are getting compression on both ends, right? So my image was very dark because it was all low light. And so I was getting pretty much my entire image massively compressed. Even though I have 10 bits of color data, it's not, I'm not getting very much resolution on those compressed and that compressed blacks area, that dark end of the spectrum. So what I don't know is how much of the noise is sensor noise, how much of the noise is compression noise. And it seems that if I want to actually shoot in dark, because Cine EI, I think what they really need for you to do is light it enough so that it's exposed correctly. And then your image is going to look great. You're going to get optimum performance out of the sensor, and it's going to just be beautiful and cinematic quality. Not necessarily going to look cinematic, obviously, but at least the capturing of the image will be at that high quality. So I'm going to switch over to my other modes. What is it called? I think they have SDR and HDR modes. But basically in those modes, you can actually adjust the gain. And I'm going to experiment with capturing a low light image that way. Now, of course, before we do all that, we've got to light our candles. Come on. This is the only lighter I could find. Let's see if it works without busting our glass. Crud. Let me get rid of some wax. Where do I put wax that I don't want? Really worried I'm going to bust the glass. Aha! One candle lit. 2 candles lit. All right, we're going to set these right here. They're really puny candles. Are these like the ones you put at grave sites or something that Catholics use? Maybe it's not Catholics. I feel like I saw these in the Philippines. There's a lot of, that's kind of the predominant Christian faith, their denomination. I don't know how that works. Anyway, saw a lot of these candles at grave sites over there. I don't know where I got these, but anyway. Ooh, it is dark. Ah, you know what else? Look at that. Like, I have my exposure index set at 4,000, which is at high base. And if I put these candles like literally touching my head, I can see myself in the monitor. But I realized the other thing that I had going for myself last time was I was really close to the camera because I was holding it. And so the tally light was actually illuminating me, and it actually had a bit of a funky effect on my face where the tally light shone versus where it didn't. All right, we're going to stop. I'm going to get the tally light adjusted. Light, light. Oh my, it turns colors. There we go. Get the tally light adjusted, turn it off, and then let's shoot a little bit more like this. So we truly don't have tally, just the candlelight, and then we'll try the other mode. Okay, front tally light's off. I actually like that better. I'll probably just leave it that way. All right, there's my Candlelight. Dang, I probably need to let's turn this back on. Let's switch to manual focus. We're at f4 on this lens. That's this. Oh, I was shooting with a different lens last time. That's 2 point. That's probably 2.9 feet. I can't actually see really well. I was shooting with a different lens, so I was at f2.8, and now I'm at f4. So what is that? 1 stop difference. So I had an extra stop on my other lens. Is that right? 2.8 to f4. I think so. Anyway. So pull it away a little bit so I can, every now and then I can see a flicker and see my face, but in the monitor, mostly with the candles like this, I can't see my face at all. This is Cine EI, high base. All right. And now, let's go to the SDR mode and jack up the gain and see what these pictures look like. Okay, this is HDR. No, SDR, standard definite dynamic range. And I set the white balance to 32K, and already it looks way cooler. I guess the Cine EI really wasn't respecting that white balance. It's interesting. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see the footage. I'm not going to white balance this. I'm just going to leave it raw at a camera for comparison's sake. In post, I mean. Okay, let's turn off the lights. So this is I get into the menu while I'm doing this. Let's just make sure I'm on high. Signable button. Oh, I gotta stop recording. Yeah, so we're in high base. This looks like it's applying 4 dB of gain for this picture. Let me switch over there. All right, so that would be base with no gain applied. Right there. Let's try it. The light off. Candles to my face. That's weird. Anyway, maybe similar. Every now and then I'll flash a light, I guess. All right, I'm gonna see if I can. I think I can just flip this switch and go to 27 dB of gain, and I'm pretty sure that's as far as this puppy goes. Let's push the button and try to turn it. Oh, push the button. We can go down. There's 16, back up to 27. So this is maxed out gain right here. And I guess to be fair, I do have this monitor aimed at me, and this monitor has a little bit of light coming off of it. Wow, I really see that blue. Pour hot wax on my back of my neck. So my lamp has this, oh, thing must be getting unplugged. Okay, let's leave it unplugged. Oh, and it's back on, and it's back up. All right, I'm gonna unplug it. It has a blue LED on it that looks funky. Okay, so this is really interesting because I'm holding this candle, oh, maybe a foot in front of me on either side. And the picture I see, of course, in a tiny monitor is acceptable for, I mean, it looks like candlelight, like I would expect it to be. But is it going to be crazy noisy? I think that there is, I think there's medium noise reduction turned on by default in this mode. I'm going to stop one more time. And I'm going to turn it on to high, and then I'll turn it on to low. We'll try the 3 different modes. So, okay, I just turned noise suppression off altogether. So, foot away. Hopefully my focus is correct. I think you might even be able to autofocus in this. I'm going to try that. Let's flip this focus ring back. It should go to, there we're in autofocus mode. But is it, that sees my face. Hey, that's kind of cool. I would not be able to do this in the Cine EI mode. So even if the picture isn't better, which I think it will be, Still, the fact that you can autofocus is pretty slick. All right, let's turn that noise suppression back on. All right, so this is noise suppression turned back on and turned to high. So obviously all noise suppression in camera now, which I assume they would have, you know, refined for the kind of, wow, a little shaky here, for the kind of noise they have. Yeah. Looking forward to seeing that. And I'm going to just go back to the defaults. Yeah, what the hey. Here's low. Try low noise suppression. All right, and now back to the defaults. All right, that's back to defaults. He's having a little bit of trouble seeing my face. This one candle might, I think part of it is the angle I hold the candlelight, because there's wax occluding the light on one side. Anyway, I am fascinated by trying to collect beautiful images in low light. I don't know why, but I'm thinking that maybe if I'm going to shoot some experimental shots, maybe I should try messing around with just some concept shots in the dark. There's one particular scene I've envisioned at the end of episode 1 that involves Travis crawling out the window and Emily standing there ready to go on the second trip up to their friend's place. And she's wielding a big knife. Anyway, I think it'll be a dramatic moment, so maybe that's what I should work on next. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. I really don't have anything else for you today, but, you know, get some candles and hold them close to your face and talk to yourself. It's really soothing, especially if there's a faucet running upstairs and you can hear the sewer, and you're in a dirty office, it's a little bit hot. All of these things are really excellent for getting the creative juices flowing. Thanks for tuning in. Bootstrap Cinema, where we don't know what we're doing, but we do it anyway.